If two really is better than one, then this is the best Charger Daytona. Times two. After launching as a two-door for 2026, the Dodge Charger Daytona is now available in a four-door model. What's unusual about this is that aside from the doors, the body of the vehicle is exactly the same as the two-door Charger Daytona. Same length, same width, everything identical. So why even offer it as a four-door? Well, mostly for convenience. Having those back doors makes it a lot easier to use the rear seats, and you will use the rear seats in this. It's a full-size vehicle. There is plenty of space back there for a 6'1" passenger like myself, as there is in the two-door. It's just easier to get into and out of it. And even for the driver, if you want to put something in the back seat, it's a lot easier to open the door and put it through that way than fold the seat forward and try to slip it through there. And of course, I should clarify that when I'm talking about two doors and four doors, I'm talking about passenger doors. The Charger is a liftback hatchback. It has an enormous cargo space that you can make even bigger by folding the rear seat backs down. And while I'm fully aware that many of you are screaming at the screen right now that this is a five-door, not a four-door, I only consider it a door if a person can go through it. Well, I guess I could climb through the back. That's not what it's meant for. And neither is the frunk under the hood, which is pretty small anyway. For 2026, Dodge has put the entry-level Charger Daytona RT on hold, so the Scat Pack is the only one available. It has a starting price of $70,190. For that, you get a 670 horsepower all-wheel drive system that's rated at 627 pound-feet of torque, and can accelerate this to 60 miles an hour in 3.3 seconds and to a quarter mile in 11.5 seconds. Top speed electronically limited to 134 miles per hour. And since the four-door only weighs 50 pounds more than the two-door, the performance specs are exactly the same. This is a 5,800-pound vehicle, so 50 pounds is a drop in the bucket. Much of that weight can be attributed to its 100 kilowatt-hour battery pack, which can be charged from 20 to 80% at the fastest public charging stations in 24 minutes, and from 5 to 80% in 32 and a half minutes. If you charge a battery to 100%, the driving range is 241 miles per charge, unless the car is equipped with the optional track pack that costs $4,995, then it drops to 223 miles. The track pack includes the steamroller 20-inch wheels that are 11 inches in front, 11 and a half inches in the rear. They're wrapped in high-performance Goodyear Eagle F1 tires and wrapped around a set of Brembo brakes with 6 pistons up front, 4 in the rear. You also get the rear spoiler, adaptive shocks, high-backed leather and suede seats, and a drive experience recorder, which is a data logger and video camera system you can use on the track. Oh, I guess the other big difference between this and the two-door is that this cost $2,000 more, so that's $1,000 a door. Both versions also feature the Charger Daytona's signature R-Wing, which creates the illusion of a big, blunt front end with a grille. Now, I realize beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I'm not about to tell anybody what looks good, but my personal opinion, I think the four-door version of this looks better. This car is just so huge, 206 inches long, and that's a lot of real estate for two doors to fill. The four doors just do a better job of cutting it up. As with the exteriors, other than the doors, there's nothing different in here. You've got your dual digital displays, touchpads for the climate controls, and pistol grip shifter. Forward view is exactly the same. Only big change in here is this B-pillar over your shoulder. The two doors are much longer. The window goes back farther now when you turn. That's right in your field of vision, although it's not too hard to just tilt forward a little bit to see around it. And of course, this car also has the Charger Daytona's most interesting feature, the Fratzonic chambered exhaust, which uses speakers and sound tubes and a vibration system to emulate a V8 engine. And it really is kind of a kick. Car does rumble, the volume changes with the drive modes, and you can rev it. In the time since the Charger Daytona has been on sale, it's become very clear that Dodge really didn't want to make an electric car. The bosses at Stellantis in Europe were telling it had to. But I really do appreciate the effort it put into the Practicality chambered exhaust. If you're gonna make a muscle car, you wanna make one that feels and sounds as much like a muscle car as possible, even if it's electric, and I guess this is as close as you can get. Don't know how loud the Practicality is coming over this mic, but it is quite loud in here, and I think it's enhanced by this optional full panoramic glass roof. The one oddity is that, like the electric motors in the car, it doesn't have any gears. You accelerate and it just goes up and up and up and doesn't ever change. And the same when you start slowing down again. I mean, when you're just cruising around in an internal combustion engine car, it's not shifting through gears anyway, but every once in a while you miss it in this. And while it does have paddles behind the wheel, they're not for changing gears, they're for changing the strength of the regenerative braking system. And now, in part because I'm not sure how loud this is on the recording, and because I've actually been doing this the last couple of days while I've been testing this car, I'm gonna shut the Practicality chambered exhaust off. It does get a little old after a while. When you do shut it off, you'll find this is a very comfortable car, more like a luxury vehicle than a mainstream muscle car. And while I would probably choose to go with a less aggressive, softer tire if I was buying this primarily as a daily driver, the ride is pretty nice. I've had this on these nice roads, I've had it on potholed city streets, and if you just said this is how the car is, there's no other option, I'd be fine with it. And these tires do provide a tremendous amount of grip, even for this very heavy vehicle. But unless you take this all the way to the limits and beyond, you never really notice the weight. All that power makes this feel like a lightweight, and hitting the brakes is like hitting a wall. This electric car, of course, has plenty of electronic driver aids, including an active driving assist that provides lane centering, adaptive cruise control, and it's very good at it. It says several drive modes, including sport, track, and drag, and while I haven't taken this one to a track or a drag strip, I did take the two-door to a drag strip, where it put down numbers very close to the factory specifications. This also has a very playful drift and donut setting that sends more of the power to the rear wheels and loosens up the stability control so you can do power slides and drifts and donuts. Doesn't turn it into a completely rear-wheel drive vehicle, however. And one muscle car thing you can't do in this is a burnout. While I'm sure there are a lot of people who always have the negative perception of this, that it's not really a muscle car, it's an electric car pretending to be one, and I'll never buy one for that reason. The way I look at it is, it's an electric car that looks cooler than most electric cars. If you really want a V8 muscle car, this probably isn't going to change your mind. But if you really want a sporty electric car, this might be the coolest one. And if you don't want that and you like the way this looks, you can get it with a gas engine instead. Version of the Charger powered by the 6-pack 550 horsepower turbocharged 3-liter straight 6 engine will be in showrooms by the end of the year in 2-door form and with 4 doors early next year. Aside from the powertrain and a taller hood without the R-wing to fit it under, they are the same car, but they are a lot cheaper. Prices for the 4-door start at $58,990, but it is a lot slower than this. It does 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds and the quarter mile in 12.2 seconds. But Dodge has been offering this with very big incentive, $7,750 to be exact, which brings the price down to $62,440. That means it's not even $4,000 more than the 6-pack. You get a lot more power and a quicker vehicle. But it does only go 223 miles per charge, and I'm sure there are plenty of people who'd be happy to pay less for the 6-pack powered Charger to get more range, even if it means they get less power.